There was absolutely no player in college football who walked into the season with more hype strapped to his name than Arch Manning. They said he would be the greatest gift to football since his uncles Peyton and Eli Manning, who were legendary quarterbacks. He was the Heisman favorite without ever leading an offense on the road. He was the presumptive #1 pick in the NFL draft. And now? Now the headline looks nothing like the poster they sold us. Because the truth, the uncomfortable truth critics are screaming from the rooftops, is simple. Arch Manning kinda sucks so far. And the craziest part? Some people keep trying to cover it up. You might wonder why, but I have an answer for you. Arch's rise began the moment he was born into the football family. The Mannings, a dynasty with expectations built into the name itself. By age 6, Arch was already telling his family he wanted to be a football player. But his grandfather, Archie Manning, an NFL legend, refused to let any of his kids or grandkids play tackle football until junior high. He had seen how violent the game could be in the 70s and 80s and believed young bodies weren't ready for those hits. Arch's father, Cooper, whose own football career ended because of a spinal condition, agreed completely. He didn't want Arch risking early injuries. So while other kids were enjoying the sport at 8, Arch played only flag football, learning the game safely from a distance. But this didn't stop Arch. If anything, it made him hungrier. Once Arch finally got to play tackle football and joined the varsity squad at Isidore Newman School, his career took off fast. In his freshman year, he became the first freshman quarterback to start Newman's season opener in at least 40 years. He threw for 2,509 yards and 34 touchdowns, earning the title of National Freshman of the Year from a major prep football outlet. Each year, he kept improving. As a junior, he passed for 1,841 yards and 26 touchdowns while rushing for multiple scores. By his senior year, he broke long-standing high school records held by his uncles, career passing yards and total touchdowns at Newman, cementing his status as arguably the top high school quarterback in the country. Because of those stats, arm strength, decision-making under pressure, and pedigree, he quickly became one of the most sought-after recruits in America. Schools like Alabama, Georgia, LSU, and Texas all offered him scholarships. He was labeled one of the top recruits in America, ranked #1, one overall by major recruiting services, and hyped as the next great Manning. Every major program in the country fought to sign him, and Texas went all in. The Longhorns spent $280,000 on a single recruiting weekend just to get Arch on campus. 4 days later, he committed. His profile only exploded further. Before he ever played a college snap, Arch's NIL valuation hit $3.5 million, making him the highest valued amateur football player in the nation. The hype was big. His commitment was treated like a turning point for Texas football, a signal that the program was officially back. Fans celebrated as if a national championship had already arrived. Analysts spoke about him like another Peyton Manning had just chosen Austin. So when Texas entered the season ranked #1 in the preseason for the first time in school history, all eyes were on Arch, the quarterback expected to carry the next era of Longhorn football. The expectations were enormous, the pressure was ridiculous, and the reality, well, that's where everything fell apart. The reality hit immediately in Week 1. Texas opened the season on the road at Ohio State, the defending national champions, inside one of the loudest stadiums in the country. Arch walked in as the Heisman favorite and struggled deeply. He completed 17 of 30 passes for 170 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception, but the numbers didn't show how uncomfortable he looked. He missed open receivers, threw low passes into the turf, and failed on a simple quarterback sneak. Even though Texas held Ohio State to just 14 points, they still lost because the offense could not move the ball. Week 2 against San Jose State looked better on paper. Arch put up solid numbers: 295 yards, 4 touchdowns, 19 out of 30 passing, and the media jumped on it like Arch was back on form. But came to UTEP in Week 3, where Arch threw for only 114 yards and again looked unsure and inconsistent. Fans began to worry. The breaking point came in Week 5 against Florida. Arch Manning struggled badly in Gainesville as Florida's defense dominated him all game. He held the ball too long, was sacked 6 times, and threw 2 costly interceptions while completing only about 55% of his passes. Texas lost 29-21, and Texas plummeted out of the top 25 faster than any preseason #1 team in history. Many people ask what's actually wrong with Arch Manning. The answer isn't just one thing. It's a combination of technique, decision-making, and results that show a clear gap between the hype and his performance this season. One of Arch's biggest issues has been his throwing mechanics. On tape, his motion often looks unstable. He sometimes leans or throws off his back foot, and he uses sidearm angles that reduce accuracy and power. These tendencies make routine throws harder to complete and hurt his consistency. Arch also struggles with reading defenses quickly. Data shows he holds the ball longer than most quarterbacks, which leads to hesitation, late decisions, sacks, and forced throws that defenders can exploit. Analysts have noted that this season, he has had trouble progressing through reads efficiently, which slows plays down and puts him under pressure. Although he is a good athlete, with long strides and quick acceleration that help him escape pressure, that mobility sometimes hides deeper issues. Instead of consistently completing dependable throws, he often relies on running or improvisation when standard reads break down. When you look at the numbers, they confirm the struggles. His completion percentage on short throws ranks near the bottom of the country, and advanced metrics like expected points and EPA place him among the lowest performing qualified quarterbacks, indicating that many of his passes have hurt the offense more than helped it. Part of this is due to the supporting cast around him. Texas has dealt with a struggling offensive line, high pressure rates, and a lack of consistent receiver separation, all of which make life harder for any quarterback. But even with those challenges, the heart of Arch's struggles comes back to how he processes defenses and executes under pressure. A fair question many fans now ask is whether we would be this patient with any other quarterback. If any other Texas quarterback had performed the way Arch has, he likely would have been pulled from the lineup by now. Instead, we're still talking about potential largely because of his family dynasty. That leads into the final truth. Arch Manning is protected by one of the strongest names in football, and that has softened how critics talk about him. Analysts often couch their criticism. Commentators highlight effort over actual production. Fans make excuses, and media outlets frequently avoid bluntly stating the obvious. Coaches also appear reluctant to make changes because of his pedigree. People don't want to be the one to doubt a Manning, which has kept the narrative gentler than it might otherwise be. But if Arch Manning's last name weren't Manning, the national conversation would be far harsher. He'd likely be labeled a bust, a liability, a project quarterback, a transfer candidate, or simply a player not yet ready for big-time college football.